My brother Mosky threw a tantrum at my wedding rehearsal because he wasn't the center of attention. My parents rushed to comfort him again. I stood alone, veil in hand, stunned. Nathaniel squeezed my hand, whispering, "They don't get to ruin this." That moment I knew we'd give them the show they wanted. But we'd write the script, one that ended with them locked out while I walked free. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. When I was 9, Mosky pushed me down the stairs because I got the lead in the school play. I limped for a week. My parents called it sibling rivalry. I remember Nathaniel, back then just a neighbor, slipping me a popsicle and whispering, "You deserved it." That was the first time someone saw me. And Mosky, he got ice cream for not telling on himself. That was my childhood punishment in silence. Praise and manipulation. In middle school, Mosky hacked my email and sent me messages to my best friend. I got blamed for cyberbullying. My mom said, "You must have done something." Nathaniel, already tech-savvy, traced the IP to Mosky's laptop. I showed my parents. They called it a prank. I was grounded for escalating things. That night, I wrote in my diary, "I'll remember this. Every dismissal, every lie, every time they chose him over truth." At 23, I got engaged to Nathaniel. Mosky announced his breakup the same day, sobbing during our celebration dinner. My parents fawned over him. "He's sensitive," they said. I cleared dishes alone, stomach clenched. Nathaniel texted me later, ready to set boundaries. That night, we started listing patterns. Every sabotage, every guilt trip. I taped that list inside a journal. The same journal that would later plan the perfect wedding revenge. When we sent out wedding invites, Mosky posted on Instagram, "Some people rush into things to hide their loneliness." My mom called, furious at me. "You must provoked him." I deleted the app. Drained. Nathaniel printed that post, wrote proof across it in red, and tucked it in our journal. We laughed for once that night. We decided no more reacting. From now on, we'd preempt the drama with strategy, not just hope. 2 months before the wedding, Mosky suggested we combine ceremonies so he could celebrate his healing journey. My parents were thrilled. "He needs this." I nearly dropped my phone. Nathaniel muttered, "They're unhinged." We invited them to a fake joint planning dinner. Nathaniel recorded everything. Mosky listed demands: first entrance, first dance, a speech. My mom clapped. I bit my lip so hard it bled. Our wedding was becoming a stage. But this time, the script was ours. After the dinner, my dad cornered me. "Let Mosky feel included, or you'll regret it." I stared at him shocked. Nathaniel pulled me aside, voice low, "If they threaten you, they don't deserve seats." That night, we restructured the guest list. Nathaniel's dad would walk me down the aisle. Jocelyn would hold the mic. I'd pay for extra security. I mailed my parents new roles: guests only. No more pretending blood meant loyalty. 1 week before the wedding, Mosky texted Nathaniel privately, "You know she's ungrateful." He attached screenshots of my childhood diary entries, pages I once left at my parents during college. Nathaniel replied, "Thanks, that confirms everything." He never told me until after the wedding. He didn't want to ruin my joy. But that moment cemented our final move: emotional exile for them, unshakable unity for us. The night before the wedding, my mom accidentally sent a group text, "Still time to cancel this circus." She meant to send it to Mosky. I stared at the message, heart racing. Nathaniel typed back, "We'll bring popcorn." Silence followed. That text became our motto. We ordered custom popcorn bags as wedding favors, printed with, "Thanks for watching our happy ending." At the rehearsal, Mosky fake cried about his childhood abandonment. My dad applauded. I stood beside Nathaniel shaking. He kissed my hand, whispered, "Let them implode." The venue coordinator pulled me aside. "Do you really want these people here tomorrow?" I smiled for the first time that day. Nope. That night, we finalized our real guest list. Theirs didn't make the cut. Mosky showed up early on wedding day. Tuxedo tight, smirk tire. Security stopped him. "Brides list only," he screamed. My mom arrived next, yelling about family betrayal. Guests watched from the lobby. Nathaniel texted me from inside. "They're putting on a show." I adjusted my veil. "Calm. Cue lights." I replied. Down the aisle, I walked free, radiant and finally unafraid. Inside the hall, someone asked, "Where's your family?" I smiled, watching from outside. Laughter rippled. Our vows echoed stronger without their stares. When Nathaniel said, "I choose you always," I didn't cry. I just held his hand tighter. That moment wasn't about who didn't show up. It was about who stood beside me. My real family wasn't blood, it was chosen, loyal, and here. After the kiss, fireworks exploded. Guests screamed, cheering. Outside, Mosky pounded the glass door. My dad pulled him back. My mom cried. Security ignored them. A team guest filmed it, all captioned, "When you're not invited to the downfall." That clip went viral, not by us, but it told our truth. We didn't need revenge, just freedom, and a damn good videographer. 2 days later, a fake TikTok account posted clips of our wedding from Mosky's phone. He tried to frame it as emotional abuse for sympathy. But the internet saw through him. Comments poured in: "Groom's a king, protect that bride. That brother's the real circus." Nathaniel smirked. They finally saw it. My DMs filled with support. And for the first time, I wasn't scared of people watching. I was proud they could finally see. Mosky emailed my boss, "She's unstable. Ask her about the wedding fiasco." My boss forwarded it with, "This guy's nuts. Need security?" I laughed so hard I cried. My workplace sent flowers. "Your light isn't dimmed by their shadows." Even corporate America had my back now. Nathaniel added that email to the journal. Proof of obsession. I finally believed him. This wasn't my burden. It was their downfall, and I wouldn't carry it anymore. My mom wrote a Facebook post about our ungrateful daughter and her cult-like husband. It backfired. Childhood neighbors commented, "We remember how you treated her." Old teachers chimed in, former babysitters even. The thread exploded. Nathaniel screenshot every comment, printed a few. "People remember." I posted nothing. I didn't need to. The truth unraveled publicly. Piece by piece, without my hand. That, to me, was the sweetest justice. Silence louder than any scream. My cousin Jocelyn mailed us a scrapbook. She'd secretly kept photos of bruises, handwritten notes, a voice memo from my mom blaming me for Mosky's tantrum. "In case you ever forget what you survived." I clutched it, stunned. Nathaniel held me. "This is your evidence, not for court, for clarity." I didn't cry, I smiled. The truth wasn't just online, it was archived, preserved, undeniable, and I didn't have to justify anything anymore. Muskie tried one last move. He emailed our venue, claiming we owed him half the bill. We agreed it was joint. He insisted. The venue laughed. He never signed a contract. I sent him back a photo of our popcorn bags. No words, just the favor. His next email was blank. He stopped after that finally. I never got an apology, but I got something better: silence, and the right to never explain again. Weeks later my mom emailed, "We miss you, let's talk." I stared at it for a full hour. Then I replied, "Talk to Muskie first." She never responded. That silence, it screamed truth louder than her words ever did. Nathaniel toasted me that night to boundaries, beautifully enforced. That's when I realized we weren't healing together, we were healing apart. And I could live with that, happily, gratefully. On my own terms, a family friend sent us a wedding gift, late engraved silverware with chosen family etched on each handle. I burst into tears. It's so stupid. I laughed. Nathaniel held up a fork. Best cutlery we've ever owned. That night, we used them for dinner. Every bite tasted different, richer, fuller, not from the food, from freedom. We weren't rebuilding what was broken. We were building something new, with love, truth, and slightly sarcastic utensils. Jocelyn texted me a meme: "When your family drama gets better ratings than Netflix." I laughed so hard I dropped my phone in the sink. Nathaniel fished it out, grinning. "At least you weren't crying this time." He was right. For once, the pain didn't sting. It amused, not because it wasn't real but because I had survived it. And survival, I was learning, had its own kind of humor, sharp, witty, empowered. Our story got picked up by a wedding blog titled "Bride Outsmarts Narcissistic Family with Genius Wedding Plan." I didn't submit it, someone else did. They used screenshots, public clips, even the popcorn bags. I read it 3 times. Nathaniel read it aloud, doing voices. She knew revenge wasn't loud, it was calculated. I snorted. "They think I'm a mastermind." He raised his glass. "You are." That night, I didn't dream of yelling, I dreamed of peace. We donated our leftover wedding decor to a local women's shelter. When we dropped it off, a staffer whispered, "You're Lily, right?" That video meant a lot. I choked up. "You saw it?" She nodded. "You stood up for yourself. That matters." I hugged her hard. The world wasn't just laughing, it was healing too, piece by piece, story by story. That shelter now uses our arch for empowerment workshops, full circle, and beautifully poetic. One night, Nathaniel surprised me with a printed journal. Every message, screenshot, and moment from the past year, our war and our win. "You said you'd write it down." "I did it for you." I opened to the first page. "This is what choosing yourself looks like." I cried harder than I had at the wedding, because this wasn't revenge, it was record, and one day, I'd show it to our daughter, so she'd never doubt her voice. I started a private blog, anonymous stories from women who'd faced family betrayal. Submissions flooded in. One woman wrote, "Your story helped me leave." Another, "I bought popcorn bags too." I sobbed reading them. Nathaniel built me a website. Jocelyn helped moder it. It wasn't just catharsis, it was a movement, a place for survivors to speak without shame. And in giving others a voice, mine only grew louder, stronger, finally, undeniably mine. Nathaniel and I celebrated 6 months with matching tattoos. Mine said louder, his said "with you." Simple, bold, a reminder. We didn't need long vows or dramatic gestures. Just truth, inked into skin. When I posted it online, one follower messaged, "You're healing out loud. That's brave." I used to hide. Now I didn't flinch when strangers knew my scars. They weren't weaknesses anymore, they were warnings. And I wasn't a victim, I was the author. During a podcast interview, the host asked, "What would you say to your parents now?" I paused. "Thank you," I said, "for teaching me what love isn't." There was silence, then applause. I didn't flinch, because it wasn't bitterness, it was truth, and truth, I'd learned, isn't always pretty, but it's mine, and I'll never trade it again for peace that costs my voice. That was the real victory. Silence sound, clear, unshaken, unapologetic. Jocelyn hosted a family BBQ. She invited everyone except Muskie and my parents. When someone asked why, she smiled. "I only invite those who feed, not drain." I hugged her tight. That night, surrounded by chosen family, laughter, and grilled corn, I felt something rare: ease. No explanations, no tension, just joy. That night, we danced barefoot in her backyard. Someone played our wedding song, and for once, the music wasn't a metaphor. It was just music. On our first anniversary, Nathaniel gave me a silver frame. Inside was the photo of me walking down the aisle alone. Underneath, he engraved, "Not alone, just finally leading." I cried, not out of sadness but release. That photo didn't show abandonment. It showed choice, agency, power. I hung it in our hallway. Every guest sees it. Every friend nods. "That's the one," they say. And they're right. It wasn't just a picture. It was proof. Looking back, I see the wedding wasn't revenge. It was resurrection. My younger self, silenced in corners, would beg them to stay. Now I curate my piece like art. That photo of Muskie sobbing outside, I keep it tucked away, not as triumph, but closure. A reminder that I walked through fire, and didn't just survive, I choreographed the flames. That day wasn't an escape. It was my debut, and I didn't whisper, I roared. Sometimes I reread that childhood diary, not to hurt but to remember. Each entry, a breadcrumb out of gaslighted forests. Nathaniel once caught me crying over it. He didn't offer platitudes, he just said, "You wrote your way home." He was right. My words were my rebellion, my truth, my path. That journal wasn't just a record, it was resistance. And now I write in joy, not survival. The pen's still mine, but the weight's gone. Muskie faded from public view. No more posts, no more drama. My parents stopped emailing. I never blocked them, I just stopped answering. That was my boundary. Quiet, firm, final. Nathaniel and I bought a small house by the coast. Jocelyn visits often. We laugh, cook, and leave our phones off. That silence isn't hollow anymore. It's peace earned, worn like a medal. When old wounds itch, I walk the shore, and every wave whispers, "You're safe now." I started officiating weddings, not professionally, just for friends who wanted someone who understood resilience. I stand beside them, say words I once needed. "You are not alone. You are enough. You get to choose." Each time I cry happy tears, not for their stories, mine. That I lived, that I rebuilt, that I love. Nathaniel jokes, "You charge in tissues." He's not wrong. My voice is no longer shaky, it's a song, and in every ceremony, I get to sing. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe to check out more stories on my channel.